Alright, alright. Last resort of good men. Dorian, optional. Speak to Dorian about the letter. Oh, right, this one, okay. And then one less Venatori. Venatori killed with Dorian. Yep, yep. The Vertiel March. Order a march through Vertiel. Sarah says there's trouble in Vertiel. Seeing red. I've grabbed all of the deposits I can find, so the 4 that I've seen in the Storm Coast are still locked, so can't get that. Favors for the first enchanter. Circle tomes found. Yeah, and I haven't been to those places yet. But before dawn is... Okay, much like the Inquisition, Corypheus invests a great time and effort into building a trusted inner circle. Samson is a former Templar, a lyrium medic, and now the leader of the Red Templars. Cullen knows Samson well and believes intercepting caravans smuggling red lyrium in the Emerald Graves would get the Inquisition closer to taking him down. Cool. I'm down for that. Right, the rift fade rifts, and there's one right by a dragon. So nope, I don't want to go to the deep roads just yet. So it seems to me like the best move right now, chat, is to head back to Skyhold and talk to the Arcanist, so that way I can clear that off of my to-do list. And then go to my War Council table and figure out where I should scout out next. Because everywhere else that I've been has, for the moment, everything that I can do is done. So it's all about, picking up new maps and new areas. Which I'm all for, because honestly I need to get more resources to further upgrade my castle.
What's the chance say about this? I never paid attention.
Nope. Quarters are up there. Don't want to go to my quarters just yet. Going to the War Council. Checking in with Lady Montelier first.
Inquisitor, I must speak with you.
What is it?
I must explain something first about the Montelier's fortunes.
I remember you said your family had been forbidden from trading in Orlais.
It's devastated our finances. The Monteliers have, in fact, been in debt for over 100 years.
I had no idea your family's situation was so precarious.
Hardly anyone outside the family does. For generations, we've done everything to keep creditors at bay. Sold our lands to stave off interest. It's just... it is infuriating to see my family still reduced to this. I'm to become head of our house. If I sell any more of our land, my family will become destitute. That cannot be my legacy to them.
I am confused, though, because you're dressed very finely.
Most people worry about their next meal. Never mind an estate.
I'm not blind, but I worry for my family. My foolish sister Yvette with her daydreams. My brothers trying to rebuild our fleet with their own hands. Is it wrong to hope they never know hardship?
Is there anything I can do?
I'd almost solved our problems. For a while. I negotiated a chance to reinstate the Monteliers as landed traders in Orlais. We could rebuild with that. But when I dispatched paperwork to Val Royeaux... I've just learned my carriers were murdered. And the documents restoring my family's trading status destroyed.
Who did that shit?
Do you have any idea who murdered them?
Leliana made inquiries that bore success. Comte Boisvert, a nobleman in Val Royeaux, claims to know who killed my messengers. He has a request that you come when I meet him, so he's seen publicly conferring with you.
What will that get him?
What will being seen with me gain the Comte?
The Comte will drop hints at parties he's to meet with an important visitor. Allies and rivals will take note. Once he's met you, there will be speculation. The Count will subtly spin reports to his advantage. He will use us. But if he knows who killed my people, I ask that we indulge him.
That's what it takes to get to the bottom of this. I'll meet this Comte with you.
Thank you, Inquisitor. It means... you are too kind. I must know who killed my couriers, just to harm my family.
And then let's go put them in the dirt. And get your family reinstated so that you can bring them, you know, back together. Anything else?
It's good to see you.
What do the people make of us?
We've gathered many favors among the nobility. They will be gently reminded of this.
Okay.
Let's speak later.
Goodbye.
Josephine, summon the War Council. We have decisions to make. Reports to read. Let's see. Thanks. New to the crew, a young hopeful. The bandits were warned about. We were warned about are gone. Tell the Sutherland boy thanks. Perhaps he can join the kitchen staff. And a little bit of gold. Sure. Find the warden. Oh yeah, it's already completed. So... okay. To serve any master. That was simpler than I would have hoped. The Imperial counting house clerks were so shocked to have been discovered, and so fearful of being found out, they all but swore their loyalty to the Inquisition on the spot. My agents say they are behaving themselves so far. Indeed, they sent gifts for you to prove their good faith. But we will watch them closely, nevertheless. In the meantime, any efforts we make to gather coin in Skyhold will undoubtedly benefit from their placement. Good. Good. Resources. I'm a fan. 10 more minutes for Cullen.
Crestwood has had no further trouble with the undead.
After what happened, it will take time for the village to recover.
Strike a bargain with the merchant princes. Inquisitor, the allied merchants of the monarchy of Antiva have inquired whether they can assist us in any fashion. They could provide us with some of the finest goods in Thedas, a powerful boost to our prestige, and spread our influence north. The merchant princes will also attempt to ensnare us in contracts so convoluted that we will be eternally tied to them. If we are interested, we must send our most skilled negotiators. Our diplomats are well respected, and I feel we can come out ahead of the bargain if we are prepared to commit. Ambassador Montillier. Not available. I've chosen a few dozen diplomats to handle the merchant princes. I will, of course, inspect everything we sign myself. Good, yeah, because we should not be coming out, yeah, ooh, bad.
At your service.
All right, escape routes for agents in Crestwood. Yeah, absolutely. Sounds good. Let's do it.
Let's see what we have.
And then let's go ahead and run around and talk to some of my advisors and see if there's anything new to report that I need reports on. Don't think I have anything new from Josephine.
A pleasure.
Yeah, nope. You know what? Let's just have a nice conversation.
Where were you raised, Josephine?
I was born in Antiva City. But when I turned 15, Mother declared I'd attend finishing school in Val Royeaux. But I bowled into her skirts the day I had to leave.
Did they have to pry your fingers off the door frame as well?
Admittedly, I may have been a trifle sheltered. But my mother only wanted the best for me. Living in Orlais was an education in itself.
What did you learn at this finishing school in Val Royeaux?
Among other things, mathematics, rhetoric, poetry, history, logic, and a great deal of etiquette. I still remember Madame Beventir's switch on my knuckles when I forgot the basic tenets of Nevaran dining customs. For a dowager approaching her 80th year, she had quite the arm.
Ugh.
How did the younger you like Val Royeaux when you arrived?
Have you ever stepped into a new city and felt the buildings couldn't possibly be real? That was Val Royeaux to me. So beautifully foreign, I gaped at its spires for months.
Does Antiva City have nothing that compares to Val Royeaux?
Antiva City is a jewel among the capitals. But I did not appreciate that before I traveled. There are multitudes of places I'd like to see. Saharan, the Anderfels, whatever lies past the Amaranthine Ocean.
So there's just no response. There's no response to that question. Okay.
Who rules Antiva?
Officially, the Principality of Antiva is governed by His Majesty King Fugelno II. In reality, Antiva's merchant princes rule the country in everything but name. Quite loudly, I might add.
What sort of dealings did you have with these merchant families?
As ambassador, I attended Privy Council meetings in a mediatory capacity. May I just say, one has never heard an argument until they've sat in on 15 princes howling down each other's tariff suggestions.
If you must deal with legislation, at least it's lively.
It's all a part of life in Antiva. Our traditions value passion and romance. A certain exuberance of style.
Are you positive you're Antivan?
I can be most exuberant when it's called for. Just at the right moments, and in a proper fashion. Might we speak of something else?
Of course.
What's the land like in Antiva?
The setter areas are quite lush. The vineyards run as far as the eye can see in some places. Antiva City, however, perches right up against the Rialto Bay. That's what I miss most. The sea crashing against the maze of the docks.
I have difficulty seeing you wandering around a trading port.
Everyone in Antiva City spends time by the ships, my lord. The finest restaurants and poets all make their habitation by the sea. The waterfront's never still. Lanterns are lit along the promenade no matter what the weather.
Sounds lovely.
Are you ever homesick?
Occasionally. When a breeze stirs the trees in the garden, I sometimes pretend it's the sound of the surf. Do you know, I even miss those terrible squawking birds infesting the harbor. My youngest sister used to throw whole loaves of bread to the gulls. Silly thing.
Tell me more about your family. Now that I'm going to save their ass.
Tell me about the Montiliers.
Well, my parents are alive and in good health. They live in our estate in Antiva City. Of my 4 siblings, most attend to the running of the family vineyards. That reminds me, I must ask someone to make sure Yvette attends the spring reception at the palace. My youngest sister has no head for social engagements.
So she's like Cassie.
Why are you overseeing your siblings' social lives?
It's Antivan custom. After a certain age, the heir apparent runs the family's estate to prove they're worthy of succession. If you're unfit for the task, the heads of the house, usually one's parents, may decree a new heir.
So you're basically jockeying to make sure that you get your estate when your parents die.
What do these Antivan heads of the household do if they don't run it?
They work and provide guidance. I've taken advice from my parents. Well, mostly mother. Father's more of an artist. He's rather gauche, but we never can dissuade him from running his own salons. Between him and my siblings, mother's looking forward to my taking over the estate.
I imagine there must be give and take between a family heir and their parents.
There is a fair amount of arbitration. Bickering, if one is less polite. But managing the estate is my duty. As much work as it is, I will not shirk it.
Is running your family's estate that important to you?
I'm responsible for their welfare. A Montilier never shuns their familial duty. Taxing, as those duties can sometimes be.
Maybe your siblings could help lighten your burden.
You don't know them. But Lorien in charge, or Antoine, or Yvette? No, truly. It must be me.
Tell me more about your friendship with Liliana.
You and Liliana appear to know each other.
We met... let me think. We met the last few years of my schooling, but we became friends after I became ambassador to Olay. It seems terrifyingly long ago now.
How exactly did you and Liliana reconnect in the Inquisition?
I discovered my family had been overcharging a merchant we traded with for months. Our name carries a great deal of trust in Antiva. I spent weeks arranging a string of favors as suitable recompense. Apparently satisfied, the merchant extended me an invitation to her estate. Liliana greeted me in place of the merchant.
I assume the entire problem was some form of trial.
You assume correctly. Liliana claims she needed someone of painful integrity for the Inquisition. I accepted, once she finally explained what it was.
Do you remain close?
Yes, but she's grown so much more distant than the outgoing woman I met in Val Royaux. Liliana used to wander the Orlesian courts, singing the sweetest songs, charming the greatest wields. Now she collects secrets and takes risks that would make empires tremble. I worry, but she will not hear it.
Does Liliana confide in you?
She enjoys revisiting our more disastrous adventures. Liliana used to concoct the most ridiculous plans. Run if you ever see her with a twine ball, a measuring stick, and a handkerchief.
My.
Let's
Yeah.
begin.
Liliana used to be a lot more lighthearted, a lot more fun, but I imagine she's seen enough in her life that she's probably quite hardened from the things she's seen. And apparently, I've already got table missions back. And there's so many that I need to stay on top of them. Conscript for the Inquisition. We have our first group of recruits. I will continue to search for more. Now, the tricky part, training. Yep, always.
How are the
Always,
rescue
always.
efforts? Have they found anyone alive?
Excavation is slow, as you can imagine.
We absolutely should build a memorial. Although we've not always seen eye to eye, I believe that on this subject we will be in perfect agreement. I would like to build a monument at the site where Haven stood as a memorial to all those who gave their lives defending the faith. Shall we work together to honor these fallen heroes, Madame Ambassador? Marquis de Rillion. Again, French, not my forte at all. But absolutely,
To work?
we will make a memorial. Apparently English is not my forte either. It's a really nice office. Good for you. Though, wow, it still is very shabby. Let's check in on some of our companions and see if there's more we can say to them. Gatsy, what are you still doing here, buddy?
Stone mad, Inquisitor.
Do you have any insight into the stories these tiles are supposed to depict?
Tell you what, you finish one, and I'll write it up. Who better, right? A good dwarven perspective.
Another time.
Best of the vein, Inquisitor. Need something?
I want to know more about Red Lyrium.
I'll tell you what I can.
What could the Templars want with it?
In Kirkwall, just having the Lyrium idol made Knight Commander Meredith impossibly strong. Before it turned her into a Lyrium statue, anyway. Maybe they thought the power was worth it, or maybe they didn't know the consequences.
I think that's enough on Red Lyrium.
Yeah, not really my favorite subject. Need something?
I want to know more about Red Lyrium.
I'll tell you what I can.
I've seen it infect people like a disease and turn them to lyrium. How can it do that?
That's a good question. To tell the truth, we don't really know what that shit can do to a person. And I don't want to find out.
I think that's enough on Red Lyrium.
Yeah, not really my favorite subject.
Don't like how it kicks you out of the conversation for each individual question you ask.
What can you tell me about this Corypheus?
I'm not exactly an expert, but ask away and I'll answer what I can.
How did you first encounter him?
A few years back, I was dealing with some trouble from a Carter clan that went rogue. They were sending assassins after the Hawk family. We tracked them to a rune in the Villarks. It turned out to be a trap. Once you went far enough into the rune, there was a magic barrier that kept you from going back. The whole thing was a prison the Grey Wardens were using to hold what they thought was a powerful Darkspawn.
I've never heard of Wardens locking up Darkspawn. Why wouldn't they just kill him and be done with it?
I don't think they could. From what we saw in there, Corypheus can control Wardens somehow. They couldn't attack him. The Wardens locked him up because there was nothing else they could do.
He looks like some sort of blighted creature, but he speaks. What is he exactly?
The Wardens who imprisoned him thought he was just a Darkspawn. But you heard him ranting. He claims he's a Magister. One who assaulted the Golden City, what, more than 1,000 years ago? It seems crazy, but if he's telling the truth, he's one of the people who caused the Blights.
You and Hawk both said before he was supposed to be dead.
He was dead. We killed him. The only way for us to escape the prison Corypheus was trapped in was to go through him. We weren't going to just leave the door to his prison open behind us and hope he was dead. We made sure.
All right, I think that's enough about Corypheus.
No problem.
And then kicks me into the
Need
conversation.
something?
Can I ask you something, Varric?
You want to talk about me? I'm flattered. Also inclined toward extravagant lies.
Thanks, Varric.
All right,
No problem.
we're out of stuff to talk with Varric. Solus, what's up, you lying sack of shit, elven god? Oh, wait. Spoilers.
Sleep well?
That was I don't know.
When I asked to talk to you, I didn't think we'd be doing it in the Fade. Still better than the dream where I'm standing naked in front of the war table.
Since you went to the trouble of finding me in your sleep, it was worth the effort of doing something interesting. I had no idea that the anchor would allow you to dream with such focus. It is truly remarkable, but I am reasonably certain we are awake now. And if you wish to discuss anything, I would enjoy talking.
Sure thing. Tell me more about the Fade.
What do you know about the Fade?
What would you like to know?
Everything.
I'd like to know more about demons.
The Chantry says that demons hate the natural world and seek to bring their chaos and destruction to the living. But such simplistic labels misconstrue their motivations, and in so doing, do all a great disservice. Spirits wish to join the living. And a demon is that wish gone wrong.
Is there a way to coexist? To live with them, if not in peace, at least without such active confrontation?
Not in the world we know today. The veil creates a barrier that makes true understanding most unlikely. But the question is a good one, and it matters that you thought to ask.
I'd like to know more about the Veil.
Circle mages call it a barrier between this world and the Fade. But according to my studies in ancient elven lore, that is a vast oversimplification. Without it, imagine if spirits entered freely. The Fade was not a place one went, but a state of nature like the wind.
I don't know if I can imagine that.
Try. Imagine if spirits were not a rarity, but a part of our natural world. Like a fast-flowing river. Yes, it can drown careless children, but it can also carry a merchant's goods or grind a miller's flour. That is what the world could be if the Veil were not present. For better or worse.
We'll talk later.
Goodbye.
I don't know. Oh, hey, another one of these.
Something wrong with your tea?
It is tea. I detest this stuff. But this morning, I need to shake the dreams from my mind. I may also need a favor.
Name it.
You just have to ask.
One of my oldest friends has been captured by mages, forced into slavery. I heard the cry for help as I slept.
That's terrible.
I'd be happy to help. What did these mages use to capture your friend? Blood magic?
A summoning circle, I would imagine.
I'm sorry?
My friend is a spirit of wisdom. Unlike the spirits clamoring to enter our world through the rifts, it was dwelling quite happily in the Fade. It was summoned against its will, and wants my help to gain its freedom and return to the Fade.
Do you have any idea what the mages want with your friend?
No. It knows a great deal of lore and history, but a mage could learn that simply by speaking to it in the Fade. It is possible that they seek information it does not wish to give, and intend to torture it.
I thought spirits wanted to find their way into this world.
Some do, certainly. Just as many Orlesian peasants wish they could journey to exotic Rivain. But not everyone wants to go to Rivain. My friend is an explorer, seeking lost wisdom and reflecting it. It would happily discuss philosophy with you, but it had no wish to come here physically.
All right. Let's go get your friend.
Thank you. I got a sense of my friend's location before I awoke. I'll mark it on our map.
Very well. Any more to talk about?
Greetings.
I'd like to hear more about what you saw in your exploration of the Fade.
I would be happy to share it.
Tell me about the old ruins you explored.
I found the ruin of Barandur, a lost Tevinter city buried deep beneath a dead and barren wasteland. Volcanic ash had sealed it tight. In one dark moment, every living creature in the city seared and smothered. They were statues in the ashes, like a mold made to recall the lost.
Tell me about the old memories you found in the Fade.
I saw a savage human horde go marching toward the battlefront. They sang a soldier's hymn to keep formation. Primal music shook the ground. These savage, unwashed warriors carried harmonies no chantry choir has mastered, though their cause was all but hopeless. They sang songs that made the spirits weep.
Tell me about a spirit you encountered.
I met a friendly spirit who observed the dreams of village girls as love first blossomed in their adolescence. With subtlety, she steered them all to village boys with gentle hearts, who would return their love with gentle kindness. The matchmaker, so I called her. That small village never knew its luck.
We'll talk later.
Goodbye. Hello.
I'd like to hear more about what you saw in your exploration of the Fade.
I would be happy to share it with you.
Tell me about the old ruins you explored.
I found an ancient dwarven tide no longer sheltered by the stone. An earthquake had exposed it all to daylight.
Mimmy!
Thousands of dwarven corpses lay, the victims of a dark-spawn horde. Their last stand marked by one great ring of armor. In the middle, one small body, clutching tightly to a small stuffed toy.
Alright, alright, alright.